Hello and welcome to Levant TV headlines. Fighting between Islamic State group jihadists and Kurdish militia in the key Syrian border town of Kobane has spread to new areas in the south and west as airstrikes continued overnight. US defense officials say Arab and other allied countries have carried out about 10% of the nearly 2,000 air raids against the Islamic State group in Iraq and Syria since early August. Police in Istanbul and at least 6 other Turkish cities have clashed with hundreds of demonstrators protesting the Islamic State group's advance on a Kurdish town on Syria's border with Turkey. A suicide bomber rammed an explosives-laden armored vehicle into houses used by militiamen north of the Iraqi city of Samarra, killing at least 17 people. And for the first time, a US federal judge has heard a case about Guantanamo Bay prison conditions and treatment after Syrian detainee Abu Wael Diab filed a suit to protest his force feeding by Guantanamo handlers. Now let's take a look at the top headlines in today's newspapers in the Middle East. Starting in Lebanon, the Daily Star leads reporting that former Lebanese Prime Minister Saad Hariri has arrived at the Élysée Palace in Paris for a meeting with French President François Hollande that will focus on Lebanon and the region. The paper also reports that Egyptian military officials say troops have killed 16 members of an al-Qaeda-inspired militant group in the West of Sinai Peninsula. The Egypt Independent leads reporting that Sinai-based militant group Ansar Bayt al-Maqdis has released a video showing the confessions of 3 Egyptians it claims to have executed in North Sinai for cooperating with the Egyptian army and the Israeli Mossad. The paper also reports that Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta has flown out of Kenya to attend a hearing at the International Criminal Court, where he will become the first sitting president to appear before the chamber. From the UAE, the Khalij Times reports that Kurdish fighters battling ISIS militants for the Syrian town of Kobane employed a new tactic when a female suicide bomber blew herself up in an attack claimed to have killed dozens of militants. The paper also reports that a British man has admitted to battering 3 sisters from the UAE with a hammer during an attack at an upscale London hotel, but denied trying to kill them. Now let's take a look at the top Middle East headlines from the UK papers. The Independent leads its Middle East news, reporting that a British-Iranian woman has gone on hunger strike after being held in a Tehran prison for more than 3 months for attending a men's volleyball match. The paper adds that the 25-year-old was in the country to work for a charity, teaching literacy to street children and to visit relatives when she was arrested. The Guardian leads its Middle East news, reporting that warplanes believed to have been sent by the US-led coalition have struck positions held by Islamic State militants near a Syrian border town that beleaguered Kurdish forces have been struggling to defend. The paper adds that the journalists on the Turkish side of the border heard the sound of warplanes before 2 large plumes of smoke billowed just west of Kobani. And the Telegraph reports that a 26-year-old student has been detained by Japanese police hours before he was due to leave to join the Islamic State militant group in Syria. The paper says the man, who has not been named, is on a leave of absence from Hokkaido University and is being questioned in Tokyo as the authorities try to determine his motives and whether he was acting alone. Now let's take a look at the top Middle East headlines in international papers. From China, the Global Times reports that Israeli Foreign Ministry has reprimanded the Swedish ambassador over Stockholm's decision to recognize a Palestinian state. The paper says the Deputy Director General of the Foreign Ministry, Aviv Shir-On, summoned Ambassador Carl Magnus Nesser to his chamber in Jerusalem and expressed his concern and disappointment on the move, warning that Sweden's statement damages the relationship between Israel and the Palestinians. And finally, from Germany, reports that Islamic State militants are said to have abducted up to 5,000 Yazidi women and girls. The paper says of the 5,000 abducted women, about 43 have returned, but how and in what way and by which route is unclear. And for more updates, please visit levant.tv. Thanks for watching. Be sure to join us again tomorrow. Bye for now.